This is Aesthetically Trained, the podcast. Pushing you to year-on-year progression. With your host, Ross McKinley.
Yo, Ross McKinley, Aesthetically Trained, the podcast. And on today's episode, you might want to get your kids out the room. This one is not suitable for at work because I'm going to be giving you some home truths. This one, being frank, is me asking you, are you being a little bitch? Are you getting the most out of your sessions, your diet, your life? Or are you using optimal? Are you using the example that I try to set, the information online, everything that's available to you? Are you using that as an excuse not to try your best? Are you being a martyr? This is something at some point I think all of us need to hear. It's about the mindset that's required. It's about the change that you need to go through mentally to dig in and get results when it gets hard. Because whether you're dieting, whether it's in your career, your relationships, everything, not everything goes great all the time. Everyone can train when it's easy. Everyone can post their PBs to Instagram. Everyone can share stuff to Facebook. Everyone can talk about the weight that's being lost. Everyone can talk about the progress that's being made. The highlight reel that we now call life is all about that. People love sharing their successes. And long may that continue. But sometimes we forget that failure is part of the journey. Sometimes we think that because everyone out there is getting so much success, because it looks like it's linear, because it looks like the weight's falling off every week, or that person's getting results all the time, this coach, that coach, your one friend who can eat what they want and they're still getting mint shape, we don't see the struggle behind the result. We don't always see the mental fuckery. We don't see the dieting brain. We don't see the sacrifices that they've made. So in this episode today, I want to talk you through what those sacrifices are, how to dig in when they come round, how to welcome them to your door, embrace the suck, as they say, and make sure that you power through it and you understand how to maximize, how to do your best. Because I'm very aware that I'm always preaching what's optimal. I wouldn't be doing my job, I wouldn't be as passionate as what I am if I wasn't trying to be the best. If I wasn't looking at protein, training, getting experts on the podcast. If I wasn't trying to tell you what the very best choice is when it comes to MPS, when it comes to the training split, what exercise is best for your chest, what's the best way to grow your legs. All of these questions that everyone inevitably has, you want certainty. You want to know what's the best way to do something. But sometimes that perfectionism, that quest for the best, that wanting absolute certainty before we start causes paralysis. Or midway through, it causes us to bottle it. It causes us to be a little bitch. It makes us think that because we can't do the best, because we can't do what's optimal, we'll give up. It makes us think that if I can't achieve 100%, why bother doing 90 or 80? What I want you to ask yourself following this episode is, are you doing your personal best? Fuck everyone else. Listen to what's optimal. Learn from as many places as possible, not just me. Podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is. Your friends, life, experiences, lessons. You need to learn. You need to apply. But just because you can't achieve the very best, just because you've got an obstacle in your way, it doesn't mean that you give up. It doesn't mean that you don't give it 100% anymore. Because what's optimal, as I always tell my clients, is what I'm teaching you. It might be that that's eating protein every 3 to 4 hours. It might be that in every single session, we should be applying progressive overload, trying to get one more rep, trying to add more weight to the bar. But let's get this clear. I don't want anyone to listen or watch me and think that that's the case all the fucking time. Because what we create through that is this belief that we must be perfect, that we're 100% all the time, 100% or nothing. That's got to be the attitude. That's what we're chasing. But perfectionism essentially is just another form, another fear of failure. It's another trap that we can sometimes get ourselves in to try to protect ourselves, to try to give ourselves certainty so that we don't look stupid. So what we'll do, and what I see people doing sometimes, is if they can't achieve perfect, if they can't have certainty that something's going to work, they'll bottle it. They'll not want to do the session when they're feeling not their best. When they're not feeling like they're going to hit a PB. Because here am I on my podcast, here am I with Jerome, with Reese, with all the people in the future, talking about how we should be training as hard as we can in every session. We should be writing everything down. So sometimes some people, little bitches, as I like to refer to them, they like to use this as validation. They like to use this, and you might do this yourself sometimes, and you've got to stop it and recognize it and quit doing it right now. Sometimes you'll use these things as a logical explanation. You'll reason with yourself why it isn't possible for you. You'll tell yourself a story about why you're different, about your lack of results. All of us have a different schedule. All of us have got a family. All of us have got a job. All of our lives are different. We'll always talk, and I'll always try to teach you what's optimal. But what you have to decide and what you have to aim for and what you have to make an agreement with yourself on is based on all the information, what is best for you. And then you chase that. It might mean that you can't get the meals in at the right time, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't bother. There might be a day at work where you forget your meals, you leave them at home, and you go to the garage. And you're thinking, or you go wherever, you go to Marks and Spencer's, you go to services, and you're trying to get something to match your diet. Now, what I'm talking about here is the people who, when these obstacles come up, they make the next best decision. Those are the people that do the best. And when you're dieting, when you're training, we'll all have these things that come at us. That's life. It could be leaving your meals at home. You go to the garage. You've got a choice. You've effectively got a free pass. You can logically reason with yourself, which is always a warning sign if you're trying to justify your actions because you know you're going off plan. But you maybe say to yourself, I've left my meals at home. You could get maybe some lean protein. You could get some biltong. You could get some boiled eggs, whatever it is. But you tell yourself, I know that that's the best. That's the best I can do right now. But I'm going to bottle it just a little bit. Because to the outside world and the people watching, today I've got an excuse. Today I've got a chance to cheat on the diet. You then go and get a protein bar. You might even completely fuck it and have a pack of crisps, a Snickers, whatever it is. In those situations, it's the people who make the next best decision that do the best. They're the ones you see on my profile. They're the ones that you see that repeatedly do it, month in, month out, continue with the process and keep getting good results. They understand that every day isn't going to be perfect. They realise that they're going to make mistakes. And you listening to this now, it might be today. It might be next week. But I tell you, at some point, you will make a mistake. And it's how you respond to that. It's realising that it's normal to fuck up along the way. But it's how you respond to that error. It's, do you make the next best decision or do you make an intentionally bad decision? Do you self-sabotage?
Oh, God!
Do you do something that you know you just shouldn't be doing? Do you use it as an excuse? It could be that in the gym, you're dieting down, progressive overloads, ganging up on you if you like. You know that you've got to beat your logbook. You're feeling that the weight's getting heavier and heavier each week. You're struggling to hit the reps. Maybe you know you're not going to get a PB at the gym tonight. You could be listening to this on your way to the gym right now, thinking about that set of deadlifts you've got coming up. Thinking about the set of squats that you're meant to be doing. The bench press, it's going to fucking crush you because it's that heavy. Now, everyone can do it when you're starting a new program, you're full of motivation, the weights are flying up, and it's easy. Everyone can do it then. That's the shit you see on Instagram. What's hard is when it gets hard. Is when you go to the gym and you wonder, am I going to be able to get one more rep today? That's when you've got to question yourself and ask yourself, Are you going to just do your best today? Because your best today might not be a PB anymore. It might not be what's optimal anymore in all areas of your life, but that doesn't mean that you give up. Doesn't mean that you be a little bitch and just say that it wasn't possible today, it's not possible for you in general, you've had a long day at work, you're tired, it's hard, you're sick of dieting, whatever it is. All these excuses. Now, to be clear here, I'm not saying that you'll then go in the gym and you will hit that PB. In fact, completely the opposite. I wanted to spend time on this episode today to fire you up to tell you that it's normal to not feel great every day. It's normal to not have a PB in every single session. But it doesn't mean that that shouldn't be our goal. What makes the difference is the people who approach every session with that intention, with that belief, with that aim, with that accountability and pressure on themselves. But the mindset needs to change. You need to realize that along the way, the closer and closer you get to the goal, the more fear of missing out you're going to have. The more negative or the more harder it's going to get. You're going to question yourself more. You're going to have dieting brain. You're probably going to feel weaker in the gym. Or if you're on a bulk, the weight in the gym might be getting heavier and heavier. But that challenge, that adversity, is what creates change. That's what we need to chase. That's what we need to push towards. That's what we should be welcoming when we get to that point. When it's all going easy and everything's flying up, I would actually be saying, maybe I'm not stretching myself enough. But sometimes I feel like people maybe misconstrue what I say, or maybe it's how I approach stuff, and think that maybe every session for me and for the lads I talk to and the lads I work with is easy. It isn't. I don't want anyone listening to this to think that you have to be great to start, that you have to be mint at something from day one, that you have to already be in shape to try a training program, to start a diet, to work with a coach, to start your own journey, to continue on your path. This could be someone who's you might already be dieting right now. You might be halfway through and you're not there yet. But it doesn't mean you give up. But if you're ever going to be great, if you're ever going to be better than what you are now, you've got to keep going through those tough days, through those hard moments. And what's easy sometimes, or what I think a lot of people do or are tempted to do, is when it gets hard, you tell yourself the story of, if it isn't optimal, I'm not going to be able to do it perfect, so I'm not going to bother. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. I'm going to wait until I feel fresher. I can't diet right today because I've left my meals at home. I've forgotten this. You set yourself up for failure. You self-sabotage. And you need to address that. You need to say, fuck it. I know it's not going to be great every day. I know that I'm going to make mistakes. I know that I'm going to get tired. I know that it's going to be hard. I realize that I'm on a fucking diet, and if I want to get any leaner, my body is literally eating its own fat to sustain energy. No wonder I'm tired. And then you dig in. You welcome that discomfort at your door and you say, fuck it, I'm going to keep going. Great. Deadlifts tonight. I've got to do 160 for 8 or whatever it is. Fuck me, that's going to be hard, but how good am I going to feel afterwards? And even if I don't hit it, I've still ticked the box. I've still done everything that I could today in my power to move us closer to my goal. And that is what it's about. It's not about whether you do or don't hit the PB every session. It's not about every single day in your diet going great and you're losing weight week on week, or you're gaining muscle week on week, or whatever it is. It's about doing the very best you can every single day. It's about doing the best you can with what you personally have available. Not me, not your next door neighbour, not other people in the gym. Your life is your life. Accept it and deal with it. It's not going to change. You work 12-hour shifts. Great. I help lads that do that. You've got your own business and you're working mega long days at work. Great. I help lads that do that. This is your reality. It's not going to change unless you're going to quit your fucking job. So what do you want to do? Do you want to come up with a solution, or do you want to continue looking at the problems? Do you want to justify why you're shit, or do you want to fucking get on with it and be great? Because we can do both, and we all know people around us who do both. But the people who do the best are the people who accept it and do the next best thing. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to do the best you can with what you have available. I'm going to keep repeating that. That's all I ask. You will leave everything in your life more complete, more fulfilled, more happy to put it down if you like, to leave it alone. Although I think training and dieting should go on forever, so maybe you never want to leave it alone. But you can leave your fat loss phase alone. You can move on. You can leave your 28-day challenge, your 12-week transformation, your muscle gain phase. You can leave 2021 alone. You can forget about it and think, I got the most out of it, if you leave no stone unturned. If you just give it the very best that you've got. You can't afford to worry about what's optimal and what you're not doing. Control the controllables. All you can do is the very best that you can do. It's great looking online and watching these videos and listening to me, but it means absolutely fuck all if the information I give you paralyzes you. It makes you think, oh, I can't do that yet. I don't know how to work this out. And you don't start. And you don't do the best that you can. I've got a great story for you about people having no regrets. Ronnie Coleman. If you don't know who it is, you can fucking look it up. I met Ronnie Coleman at Body Power. I've seen many of his seminars over the years. He's a fucking legend. He's had several surgeries. His back is now completely fucked. And if this doesn't motivate you, although you shouldn't be going to the extents he did and all the things that he did, the extracurricular activities. But if this doesn't motivate you, nothing will. And there's a lesson in it. Ronnie Coleman, you can search this. There's a video of him squatting 800 pounds. That's 365 kilos. A lot of fucking weight. He unracks it. It's massive. It's so fucking heavy. 365 kilos. He does 2 reps. He racks it. Everyone's like, fucking hell. Oh my God. He didn't just do 1. He's done 2 reps of 365 kilos. 800 pound squat. For 2. What does Ronnie Coleman say? What does he mention in every seminar, every talk he does, wherever he is, even to this day when he's in a fucking wheelchair? What does he talk about? Not the 2 reps he done. The fact that he done 2 and he knew he could get 4 and he racked it. Because even at that elite level, even with that winner's mentality, if you like, isn't to compare himself to everyone else and say, yes, I've done 2. Yes, that's fucking great. He knew in himself that he could have done 4. And it bugs him to this day. Search it online. He talks about it all the fucking time. And that is what a lot of you are doing in your day-to-day life. It's easy to hide behind being comfortable. Between looking like you're doing, as they say, keeping up with the Joneses, doing better than your next door neighbour, maybe being the strongest in your group of mates, being a little bit better than last year, but you fall into the comfortable trap. Convenient comparison, logically reasoning with yourself about why you should or shouldn't be doing something. But in reality, we all know what we could do. And you will sleep much, much easier at night if you just give it your all. And I'm always going to preach that. But I wanted to spend 10, 15 minutes, whatever this has fucking been, to spend some time today telling you that that's going to be different for every single one of you that watches these videos or listens to the podcast or whatever it is. And I want you to share this to someone who you think needs to listen to this. Tag them in it. Because everyone does this and everyone needs to hear this at some point. When it gets hard, you've got a decision to make. Do you give up or do you keep going? You will be rewarded in public for what you do in private. The effort that you put in private will be shown in your results. That's what gets you there. That's what gets you the results that you want. As I said in the first episode, wherever it was, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. But to get there, you need to keep going. You need to be on your own path and focus on you and you alone. Don't get distracted by what's optimal. Consider it. Listen to me. Read stuff online. Do your own research. But then come up with a plan and fucking stick with it. Everyone can do it when it's easy. It's about what you do when it gets hard. And remember, it's about making the next best decision. Keep that in mind for all of the episodes of this podcast and everything moving forward, and you'll do a lot better. That's it. Thank you. Spread the word, pay it forward, do all the things that you know that I would like you to do. Instead of just sharing this randomly, literally just pick one friend who you think needs to hear this. It could just be yourself. could just keep this for a day when you're feeling a little bit low on the way at the gym, when you're questioning yourself on the diet, when you don't want to go do the cardio, when you're wondering, should you cheat, should you have the carbs, should you have the pizza? When you haven't had a good day and when you're thinking about going off track and when you're going to possibly sack it all off, listen to this. This will bring you back on track. And that's all we're trying to do. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.
You've been listening to Aesthetically Trained, the podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and spread the word.